also glad to be in Toronto because it gives me a chance to speak very briefly about a cherished Toronto band, Rush. The iconic Rush song Subdivisions, which was recorded in 1982 in Morin Heights, Quebec, not far from where I actually live, north of Montreal. The song Subdivisions stands as lyricist Neil Peart's erudite and much loved dissertation on the suburbs. And my book's title was inspired by a line from Subdivisions, that line where Peart wrote of the suburbs, "Nowhere is the dreamer or the misfit so alone." So my book is about such dreamers and misfits, these ones hailing from the fictional but hopefully familiar Montreal suburb of Montclair. My book is also about the struggle for individuality in the face of something as tempting as conformity. It's about the fight against boredom and unearthing suburbia's little wild spaces. So I'd like to read for you the brief opening story of the collection. The story is called Salut, King Kong. The summer that I was 16, I got a call from my friend Dave Greenwood. The people 2 houses from his were having a garage sale. There was a gorilla costume. Dave knew I'd be interested. The gorilla suit was stuffed inside a worn-out cardboard box. The costume came in 6 parts: a mask with a rubber face surrounded by black fake fur, 2 hands and 2 feet, and a bulky, furry body with a Velcro zipper strip up the back. It was perfect. I gladly handed over $70 for the thing, money I'd earned sweating over the grill at the local McDonald's. I went home, kicked off my shoes, and tried the gorilla costume on. Then I took a walk along the main street of town. The suit was hot and scratchy. There was a rank industrial scent inside the mask. My eyes didn't line up perfectly with the eye hole, so I had to pull down slightly on the nose to see properly. I'd never felt so vibrant in all my life. Traffic slowed on Sir Wilfrid Laurier Boulevard. Horns tooted. Hands waved at me from rolled-down windows. A few people on foot, particularly people walking dogs, crossed to the other side of the street. Most were amused and friendly. "Salut, King Kong!" Grandfatherly type quipped, pleased with himself. He was smoking, and I motioned at his cigarette with my fake ape hand. Brought 2 furry fingers to my lips and mimed puffing. The man produced a pack of Players Light from his front shirt pocket. He cocked his head and carefully threaded a cigarette through my mask's mouth opening. Then he lit it for me. "Merci!" I grunted, the way I imagined a talking gorilla might. Smoke filled the inside of the mask, stinging my eyes. I walked a few more blocks and came to the intersection of Sir Wilfrid Laurier and Curie-Antoine Labelle. Everybody called this juncture the Four Corners, a gas station on each of them except for the one where the Montclair Inn stood, long-standing haven of career drinkers and underage drinkers alike. It was known simply as the Inn, though those 2 words did not appear anywhere on the beige stucco building. The large neon sign affixed to the edge of the roof read, in red block letters, Montclair, our town's unofficial welcome sign, with, noticeable only at night, a burnt-out T. I had a nightmare when I was 5. A triceratops was charging through Montclair, trampling everything in its path. People fled as cars, houses, the gas stations at the Four Corners, the inn, everything was flattened. It was the one dream from childhood that stayed with me over the years. The McDonald's where I worked was across the street and a couple of doors down from the inn. They had recently installed a security camera in the drive-thru, trained on the microphone where customers gave their orders from their cars. Inside, we couldn't keep our eyes off the screen, thrilling at the sight of familiar faces on sort of TV. I knew Teresa Black was working, and I knew she was probably working in the drive-thru. She always did. I made my way toward the microphone amid the cheers, shouts, and honking horns in the parking lot. I waved my furry hand to the camera under the roof overhang. As one car advanced and before the next one pulled up, I put my rubber gorilla nose to the microphone grill and grunted, "Milkshake!" chocolate, and French fries to dip in the milkshake. Is that you, Tim? A few weeks earlier, when we'd had the staff room to ourselves, I'd revealed to Teresa my private fondness for French fries dipped in chocolate milkshake. It sounds disgusting, and it did to Teresa, but there's something in that combination of salt, grease, hot potato, and cold, sweet chocolate ice cream. After some coaxing, I got her to try it. She wasn't crazy about it, but did concede it was not as gross as she imagined it would be. Since then, on days when our shifts coincided, we've been coordinating our breaks. We employed affected nonchalance, like it didn't really matter if I could get away from the kitchen at the very same time that she could leave the drive-thru, pretending it was a happy but unimportant coincidence. My somersaulting stomach was not as blasé about it. On the other side of the McDonald's, Teresa was leaning out the pickup window. Her dark bangs curled like a little wave beneath the brim of her green McDonald's cap. The skin on the upper regions of her cheeks was shiny with the grease of a 4-hour shift. Tim, is that really you? She was beaming. It's me, I replied. I forgot to shave. You're crazy. She slipped me a milkshake. I'm finishing in 10 minutes? Fuck the casual act, I thought. That's great, I'll be in the park. I'll bring fries, Teresa said. Now go, I gotta work. In the park behind the McDonald's, I sat atop an orange picnic table with my feet up on the bench. I pulled the gorilla mask off and basked in the breeze, cooling my sweaty face. I took a long drink of milkshake through my straw. From my spot, I could see the Four Corners, where traffic flowed sleepily past a soulless collection of gas stations, fast food restaurants, and our one bar. For the better part of a year, I'd been thinking a lot about my old Triceratops nightmare, how I really would in fact like for something to come along and raze this lifeless town to the ground, wipe it off the map. If not a dinosaur, a giant ape could do the job, and nicely. Salut, King Kong, the place is all yours. But in that moment, sweating in my new gorilla costume in the park, I had other things on my mind. There'd be more garage sales to scope out next weekend. Dave had his license now, and we had plans to go see Fugazi in Montreal in August. Chocolate milkshakes were awesome. I loved Teresa Black, and in just a few minutes, she was meeting me in the park. Thank you very much.